It just opened up. Every note, I changed the whole arrangement. Changed the whole arrangement and nobody would ever know. Absolutely amazing.
Hello, my name is Ray Williams. We're here at the NAMM show in California, and I'm here with my good friend and colleague from quite some time, Mischke. And Mischke has become one of the most successful producers and songwriters out here in LA, and also a very early adopter of Melodyne. How you doing, Mischke?
Doing great, man.
So the typical workflow would be you would track, say, a vocal. You work with a lot of vocalists.
A lot of vocalists. So I mainly I write the song, and then once we place the song, I cut the artist on the song, and it's my job to get the best performance I possibly can out of a singer, and I do it every day.
Okay. So you would track, and then you would I guess do all the editing. And how does Melodyne figure into your production system? How does it? Where's the workflow?
Well, as I was telling Thomas, it changes things for me because instead of having to record the old way, Melodyne is the future to me, and it's the future because back in the day, when I first started, we would have to cut over and over and over and over on the same spot to try and get. It could be just one line that we just really needed to just get right. Now I can record take after take after take, because my experience has always been that the first take is almost always the best take, and it's almost always the best take because singers usually are loose because they never think that you're keeping the first take. So almost always that first take is absolutely brilliant, but there'll always be one little tiny thing in it. And for me, I much rather keep the brilliance and the spontaneity of that great take rather than having to continually do it over and over and over again so that somebody, by the time we get to the end of it, it doesn't have that same spark that it had in the beginning. And for me, Melodyne allows me to do that because a lot of times, I have to tell you, most of the singers I work with are the best singers in the world. So the amount of things that I have to use Melodyne on isn't really that crazy. But when I do use it, it saves an absolute brilliant take. It's so easy. And that's the wonderful thing about it. It's just such an easy program to use. And if you're working in Pro Tools, if you're working in Logic, it's flawless, seamless between the two environments. I actually use the plugin, but I also really like using Studio, and I use Studio with the bridge in Pro Tools, and it's absolutely seamless. I love it.
What about Melodyne DNA? Have you found any uses for that in your production?
I haven't really gotten into it yet. I've only used the beta, so but I mean, it's absolutely. The funny thing was, after watching all the videos, I expected there to be all these artifacts and everything, because it kind of tells you, expect this and expect this. Now, the first thing I put into it was a guitar that was recorded in a song that we did on a group called B2K, which was about 5 years ago. Absolutely, it was recorded very cleanly. But when I put it in, every note was isolated. Every single note. There were no artifacts. It was exactly as advertised. It just opened up. Every note. I changed the whole arrangement. And nobody would ever know. Absolutely amazing.
It is amazing. It almost makes you wonder, how could this be possible?
It does make me, considering the fact that it comes from the same people who made me think years ago, how could this be possible on the first Melodyne, that it would take Melodyne to do it again. But here we are at NAMM again, and I've always told people that I always judge NAMM by, was there one thing that just made me go, how did they do that? I've only had that happen twice in the last 5 years, and both times were with Melodyne.
One other thing, Melodyne is perceived as a tuning tool, and people think of it as, oh, you tune vocals with it and so on. But it also could be used for other things. Do you use it for any other thing, like timing or any of that stuff?
Like I said, most of the singers I work with are absolutely brilliant singers, so I don't really have to use the tuning that much. I love it for pocket. It's the best thing in the world for pocket. I have so many other people who use all the other competitors, but I've used the competitors, and it leaves these really ugly artifacts that I think the industry just gets used to hearing them after a while. I don't like them, so I'd much rather have it clean. With me, Melodyne gives me the power to move things around pretty drastically without hearing any sort of artifact. I just hear a beautiful voice.